Here to talk to us about focus-driven education, please welcome National Director of Academic Relations at UTI, Dr. Stephen Coyle.
Well, good morning. I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect this bigger group this early in the morning, so great job getting out here. So I'm with the Universal Technical Institute. As he said, we are the leading provider of technicians in the country. But I'm not here to talk to you about UTI, I'm here to talk to you about you and what we have going on right now and the disconnect that we have with education and industry, because it's a huge disconnect that's going on right now. So let's get into it. The old smart. What is the old smart? The old smart is that everybody goes to college or a university of some type. Everybody does. How did this get started? Back in 1971, Griggs versus Duke Power. At that time, all the aptitude tests and things that they had were all deemed unconstitutional. It's not fair. This student had experiences that this student didn't have, and on and on and on. So they were deemed unconstitutional. So Duke Power says, what are we going to do? We have to have some way to measure students, to measure employees. College degree. That's going to do it. If you have a college degree, you're automatically smart. Well, that's the old smart. But the problem is we're still dealing with that today. Now, I'm not here bashing colleges and universities, don't get me wrong. But there are other alternatives out there, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. Okay, so the old smart is we're going to pick the best school we can. And then we're going to go to that school and hopefully figure out what it is we want to do. And if we do, then we'll get a degree in something. We're going to come out and say, here I am, world, hire me. It's just not working anymore. And you say, well, nobody does the old smart anymore. Nobody does that. Well, ask these people that are being put in prison right now for bribing schools to get into USC and schools like that. It is going on. But what I want to submit to you today is the new smart. So what is the new smart? The first thing we want to do is find out, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Okay, how many of you in this room were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? You all were. You all were at some time. What do you want to be when you grow up? When's the last time somebody asked you that? I challenge counselors all the time. Next time a junior or senior walks into your office, ask them, what do you want to be when you grow up? Of course, you're going to go, oh, well, I'm grown up. Come on. But really, we need to know what it is you want to do. I used to say your passion could be your paycheck. Then I was talking to someone that he said, well, you know, what if you're no good at your passion? Never thought about that, but I wanted to play in the NBA, and you see that wasn't going to happen. So we have to find out what we can do. What do you want to do? And if you can't do that specific thing, maybe you can do something related to that. So that's the first step. The second step we're going to do is find out what career pathway you have to take. What are you going to need to get there? Do you need a bachelor's degree? Do you need an associate's degree? Or do you just need competency-based credentials? Something to think about. And then find the school that's right for you. What school is that that's out there? And it may not be the school that's right down the street from you. You may have to go across the country to get there. I know that's scary, but that's what you might have to do to get to where you want to be. That's the new smart. The rule of 1-2-7, ever heard of it? Didn't think so. If you add 1, 2, and 7 together, you get 10, okay? So today, right this minute, for every 10 jobs that are available out there right now, today, only 1 requires a master's degree or higher. 2 out of 10 only require a bachelor's degree. 7 out of 10 careers that are available today, this minute, only require an associate's degree or a competency-based credential. That's all it requires. Yet, we are pushing students into colleges and universities at a 70% clip. Do you see the disconnect? It does not make sense that we're pushing all these students into. And what is happening right now is that 50% of the college graduates we have today are underemployed or didn't even need their degree. They just went to get that college experience. But what do you get? Debt. So that's why you want to make sure that it's what you want to be, what you want to do. Focus-driven education, 4 parts. It's real simple. First one is self-exploration. Sit down with yourself, not with your boyfriend, not with your girlfriend, not with your parents. Sit down by yourself and say, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? Then go to your advisors, go to your counselors, go to your parents and say, okay, here's what I want to do. So what careers are out there? There's a bunch. Do you guys know that in 10 years from now, 2030, 85% of the jobs that are going to be here then are not here now? It's crazy, but it's true. So there's all kinds of career exploration that needs to go on. Then the third part is, what do you need to do to get prepared for that career? And then finally, what education do you need? Do you need that bachelor's degree? And if you do, then go get it. But if you don't, why? Make it focus driven. Don't you do everything with a purpose in mind? Why not your education? That's all I'm asking. So, the tape measure of life. This is something that we do in high schools all across the country. You know, you don't think of your life in terms of a tape measure. But if you would, think of every inch on that tape measure is 1 year of your life. 1 year. You pull out that tape measure and start looking. Of course, I know you guys, you're going to live forever. I know. I thought that too. Right now, I'm looking for a longer tape measure. So, that 18 to 24, that's critical. That's when you're making some tough decisions about yourself. What do I want to be when I grow up? Do I need all 6 of those? I might need 8 of them. Or I might only need 2 of them. And if you only need 2 of them, then you've got more tape measure out there then where you can make money, where you can do what you love to do. So the tape measure of life really drives home a point that you need to think about. Every inch is a year of your life. Be careful with it because it goes pretty fast. The workforce is changing, and we know this. The 20th century, we were very much an agriculture, manufacturing society. Not so much anymore. We're now very much service-oriented. If you have a new house, a new car, a washing machine. You know, we just recently bought a washing machine, a Samsung. I thought that was a stereo, but it's a washing machine. And it's got all this fancy stuff on it. It's got your steam release. It's got wrinkle release. It's got a little place for my delicates. I have delicates, okay? So, it's got all those things. But my question is, who's going to work on this stuff? Scary. I'm not tearing into that. And I'm not sure the Maytag repairman can handle it either. We're going to have to find somebody that can take care of these things. So we're very much service-oriented today. Something interesting, I know you see in agriculture, you see, well, we went from 41% to 2%. Don't let that fool you. We're doing more with that 2% than we were with the 41%. Why? Technology. But once again, who's going to work on this? Who's going to make these things happen? Who are the technicians that we're going to be able to rely on? So that's where the changing workforce is taking place. By 2026, we're going to need 1.2 million technicians. That's not just in auto. That's the whole industry. That includes diesel technicians, ag. You know, we're not counting just cars. We're counting tractors. We're counting combines. We're counting all of these modes of transportation that we have. That's what's out there. Then on top of that, we have over 260 million and counting of those types of vehicles. And that number continues to grow, but what is not growing is the number of technicians it's going to take to work on all of this. The skills gap is not narrowing, it is widening, and it's getting to a crisis proportion, which is why I'm here appealing to you today that you need to think about this as far as a career is concerned. Technology in agriculture is advancing rapidly. You know, I was so funny, I was with someone and we happened to be driving by a field and said, man, look at those rows in that field, they're so straight. That farmer must be awesome. He can keep everything. I go, that farmer's got GPS. That's what's going on in these vehicles now. You know, you look at what's in your car, you can put the same things in a tractor. You know, it's out there. You've got stuff sitting on the showroom floor right now that this is cutting edge technology that's going on. So in the agriculture industry, the need is becoming even greater for technicians. You may not want to be a farmer, and that's okay, but you could sure help them out as being a technician in this field. So, in conclusion, what do you want to be when you grow up? Think about that. Give it some serious thought. Really, what do you want to be when you grow up? And what are you going to do to make that happen? And the last thing I would ask you to do before we leave today is, okay, how many of you at your schools have a college fair? Okay? Tell your counselors and tell your administrators, change that name. Let's call it a post-secondary fair. Let's call it a career fair. Let's call it something else, because when I say college, you say Penn State. When I say college, you say Kansas University. When I say college, you say, whatever. But if I say college, you won't say UTI. You won't say Paul Mitchell Cosmetology School. You won't say Tulsa Welding. You won't say Lincoln Electric. You won't say those things. But they are also just as important out there. And so for those of you out here today, don't discount those, because there are successes in all fields and in all types of education. So please, please pursue these, because there's a whole big world out there for you. Thank you. I have a couple of minutes. Does anybody have any questions for me? Come on, did I baffle you with my brilliance? Don't think so. Any questions?
Anytime I have a guest speaker in class, I always ask this question. What kind of kid were you when you were in high school?
When I was in high school, I knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. I knew that right on. But I had to fight my parents on that, because my mom did not want me to do that. So I went into business to please her, and I was miserable. And I still remember the walk to the payphone. Yeah, we had payphones back then. I'm old. And telling her, and her response was, "I know. I was just worried about what you were going to do. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you need to do." So I knew pretty quick what I wanted to be.
We've got one
right back this way.
Okay, I'm from Arizona, and
Where are
I
you?
was wondering.
Where?
Directly behind you.
Oh, okay.
This way. There we go. Perfect.
Okay.
I was wondering what sort of certifications your institute has.
We offer associate's degrees, and we also offer competency-based credentials training in 37 different manufacturers. And so you have a variety of choices there with that.
And we've got one right here.
Okay.
So you said you went into business and then you wanted to be a coach. So how'd you get associated with UTI? Like, how did you get there?
Well, I'm a retired educator. I was a teacher, coach, principal, and I retired from that, and I had the opportunity to move into private education. I had a short stint with DeVry University and the Art Institutes International, and then moved into UTI, where I've been here for almost 9 years. And my education background put me in the position where I'm National Director of Counselor and Academic Relations with UTI. So I speak to educators all over the country.
We have a question back here behind you.
Yes.
I'm interested in working with classic cars. Does UTI offer anything degrees-wise with that?
Yes, we do. We have our collision repair and refinish technology. So that's where you could get into, refurbished vehicles and that kind of thing, which sounds like you get into specialized paintings, things along those lines too. Yes.
And we've got one right here.
So I'm also from Arizona, and I was wondering, where are your branches and which one's your favorite?
Okay, we're all over the country. I can't say a favorite because somebody might be listening to this and I'll offend them. But really, I'll tell you, Dallas is kind of my favorite. But anyway, I never said that. But we have locations in Arizona. We have 3 in California. We have 1 in Chicago. We have 2 in Texas, Dallas and Houston. We have in Orlando. We have our NASCAR Technical Institute. We're actually trained technicians going to racing, and that's in Mooresville, North Carolina. And then we have our campus up in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and Exton, Pennsylvania. So we're spread all over.
And we've got time for one more question.
Say, what's the average cost of UTI compared to a university?
Average cost, it's very similar. We do our tuition by total cost, which the average total cost of our program is about $34,000. But that includes your books, that includes your tools, that includes your uniforms, all that's included. But you finish our program in a year, as opposed to going for 4 years. And so we measure pretty favorably with colleges and universities on cost. But the best part that what you want to keep in mind is ROI. We have over 5,000 TRIP employers. That's tuition reimbursement employers that actually will help our students pay off student loans upon graduation. Penske, Auto Group, AutoNation are some examples of that. Okay, well guys, thank you so much for the questions. It was a distinct privilege to get to speak here today. Thank you.